We're making sometimes pretty pictures, sometimes not so pretty pictures, but there are ideas.
So now I'm continuing to take courses here because there's always something new.
Photography, again, to me is not just like shooting film, developing, and making a print. It's not just shooting digitally, downloading, pressing the button, and making a print. There's a whole thought process.
Without the technical, you can't really become the artist that you want to become.
My experience here has been amazing. I've met so many wonderful people that have helped me out.
I find that here I am at my creative best.
And there's something very magical about the first time you pull that roll of film out of the tank and there really are images.
I want to move forward with my life. You know, I can actually appreciate the extra help that I'm getting here.
They really foster their creativity of the students. They really work with them. They really want them to be successful.
Well, every semester we have Photo 1, which is a black and white wet darkroom class. And we also have digital photography that's also an introductory photography class. I'm interested in them learning a little bit about the history of photography. In a one-semester class, I can't go into depth, but I can introduce them to it. I want them to look at a lot of photography. I want them to look at photo books. I want them to go out to museums and galleries. I want them to think about what they see, analyze it, and write about it. That way I think they begin to incorporate the whole practice of the medium a little bit more for themselves, and also realize that we're making sometimes pretty pictures, sometimes not so pretty pictures, but there are ideas. There's a thought process behind this. And in this class, they're just beginning their own personal investigation as to what kind of photographer they might want to be.
You know, it's just a great course for really getting the most you need out of even more than you bargained for out of a Photography 1 course.
In addition to that, we have Photography 2, which is an advanced black and white course. What we will be offering next year is an advanced digital photography, and that's clearly the direction that the medium has headed.
The professors have gone and learned digital photography. They've gone to the top schools in the area to learn it, and they bring that back now. So now I'm continuing to take courses here because there's always something new.
From time to time, we offer a history of photography. We have an adjunct faculty, Jim Bergeson, who's developing an online course, and we hope to see that in the near future. Well, photography, again, to me is not just like shooting film, developing, and making a print. It's not just shooting digitally, downloading, pressing the button, and making a print. There's a whole thought process that goes along with it. It's about the seeing and the thinking. So many of my students come to me without any kind of art background. So along with teaching them the how to make a print, I also talk a lot about visual structure. What are the different visual elements? How do they work together? Why do you want to make choices? Why do you want to make this kind of composition? What does that say as opposed to another composition?
You really go down to the nuts and bolts, and you really learn how to take pictures and all the technical aspects of photography. And then there's also this focus on the artistic portion of photography. So there's the two parts of it that are so important. Without the technical, you can't really become the artist that you want to become.
They have to go to a museum. I want them to see the real thing. The real thing is different than an image on the internet. And think about it and write about it. I want them to go look at our books in the library. We have a great collection. Read them.
In the other schools that I've gone to, including schools in New York, photography schools in New York, I find that here I am at my creative best.
You know, in darkroom, it's like being in there, and there's something very magical about the first time you pull that roll of film out of the tank and there really are images, there really is a negative, and then you take it into the darkroom and you make an exposure and you have this white sheet of paper and you put it in the chemistry and you really watch it happen. There's still that element of magic. The not quite being sure how what you saw through the camera translates into that end product. For me, what's really exciting is to then guide them to be able to have some control over how they interpret that.
We are learning how to operate a film camera and how to use the darkroom effectively. And not only use the darkroom, but make really good prints. And that's an art in itself.
I actually like being able to like work like hands-on with like the chemicals that are used in developing, and actually like seeing the picture like appear out of thin air, basically.
You know, it's more than just let's go in and have fun in the darkroom. There's, you know, a certain amount of background I want to give so they have an understanding of what they're doing in the darkroom and what happens when they develop film and how they can utilize that for the next roll of film to make better images.
With black and white, you get to get your hands dirty, and chemicals, you get to actually see your picture come alive. And to me, that's just the fun of photography.
The most exciting is the way you can manipulate your image, even after capture, in the darkroom with a number of tools that I didn't know existed to create the kind of image that you have envisioned when you actually took the picture. It's like magic. You have a blank piece of paper, and like magic, all of a sudden you have an image.
We have good facilities. I've been teaching wet darkroom here since 1988, so I have 20 years of helping that area develop. We have 10 good workable enlargers. We have 2 rooms. One we do film developing, the other we do printing. We have dryers. We provide the tanks and trays for film developing, print developing. We provide all of the chemistry also. We even have a loaner program in both wet darkroom and digital, where if you can't afford a camera, we can loan you a camera to do an assignment.
What's really good about taking photography courses here is that there are excellent facilities, particularly in the black and white versus other schools that you could go to.
When I came here, they had a drying machine for your negative, and I was like, wow, this is so much easier than waiting for your negatives to dry. And then they have a print dryer, which makes it easier for you to get your prints done. And
here, you can be in the dark room as much as you want to be in the dark room and really work on your art.
In digital photography, we have 2 Mac labs. They have 20 computers each, Mac G5s. We have some Epson printers as well as some color copiers in there. And the CS3 program, so it's a very up-to-date lab, big LCD projector, and it's great.
Utilized the Photoshop labs, utilized the all of the labs and the computers as much as they want to. That's a tremendous asset, and the school keeps up to date with the equipment.
I think we have a really dedicated group of faculty. They're not stuffy, they're fun, they're professionals. They're really devoted to the students and teaching.
And since coming back from Paris, I have really been a fine art photographer, and I needed a dark room. I checked out Joan Fitzsimmons, her work, thought she had lovely work, and wanted to learn from her.
Joan is an extremely talented teacher. She's very creative, and she's able to bring that out in her students.
I'm very honored to be taught by a person of her caliber.
We really care about the students and their success, and I see all the faculty, full-time and adjunct, really investing themselves in the students' success.
And they really foster their creativity of the students. They really work with them. They really want them to be successful. It's personal with them.
Yes, I think it's always good when you're an older student, especially, that you can come into a school like this and the students are very warm, very open. You're treated just like everyone else.
I want to move forward with my life. You know, I can actually appreciate the extra help that I'm getting here, you know, discussing, you know, photographic techniques with people, and, you know, really, you know, gaining a really interesting perspective from, like, you know, old students, young students.
My experience here has been amazing. I've met so many wonderful people that have helped me out. I have met classmates that have dealt with photography before or have a career in photography and have helped me out with my pictures.
The most interesting thing about teaching here is the student body, and the fact that it's, in a very literal sense of the word, probably the most diverse student body you'll ever find. Age-wise, economics, ethnicity, people from all over the world. And somehow this whole melange works. A lot of students have transferred to four-year schools. They've gone to School of Visual Arts. They've gone to Fashion Institute of Technology. Lots and lots of our students end up at SUNY Purchase.
I have personal projects that I am continuing to work on, and I also freelance portrait photography events.
Quite a few students are doing freelance photography.
And I really wanted to learn how to become a photographer, which I did. And I was able to take it to the point where I've exhibited some work, and I've had some things published.
Yeah, students like Chris Whisker and James Kegler are exhibiting in regional photo exhibits.
I'm looking forward to what I can do next. You know, I want to take it as far as I can.